Well, I'll tell you one thing, though, and this is not appropriate. This is not a part of the podcast, but I'll tell you, men will spend anything to get their dick working. They may not have $6 to pay a light bill to keep the lights on in their house, but they've suddenly got $3,000 for like a dick treatment. I mean, that's true.
You're not wrong.
That is true. That is true.
You're not
I mean,
wrong.
can't buy milk, but my dick works.
Yeah. Welcome to Balls Deep, a humorous yet informative medical show with a mission of optimizing your performance in the bedroom, the bathroom, and the boardroom. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Pazona, a board-certified urologist and CEO of Pazona MD. We hope you enjoy. Now, let's jump right in. Stream team, welcome back. Part 2 of Balls Deep, all things erectile dysfunction.
Ooh.
Dr. Joe Pazona here with Kat Williams. And, Kat, we didn't comment on the beautiful fall display that Chad has set up for us.
I didn't, but I'd like to. This is a beautiful fall display. The only thing that you are missing is mums, because mums just say fall.
Well, and a bowl of candy corn as well, I think would have been nice.
Okay, but no need to talk about things that are in my closet. That's fine. But yes, candy corn.
I mean, Chad's not only good looking, does a great job editing this, but I mean, look at this home decor. So we're going to be renting out Chad for our house.
Chad is multi-talented.
That he is. And he's got some bourbon over the sideline. I mean, this is a good place.
Don't give him away. Don't give him away.
All right, Kat. So episode 2. So first episode, we hit ED, kind of what is it?
Causes.
And the causes.
Erectile
and
dysfunction.
So here I thought we would dive into probably the most interesting part is sort of natural ways to improve ED. And there's a lot of new treatments that are out there that I'm sure people have questions about. So
Sure. And I don't know anything about this, so we'll just wind you up and let you go.
sounds good. Ready to go deep here?
Let's do it.
All right.
Balls deep.
Treatments for erectile dysfunction that you call natural.
Yes.
Meaning, I guess, not medication.
Yeah, I mean, let's first start with the 4 pillars of wellness, right? I mean, it's boring, but simple and effective. Okay. If we go back to the fact that ED in the majority of cases is caused by all the chronic diseases from not taking care of ourselves, again, as a review, high blood pressure, diabetes, smoking, obesity, high cholesterol. If we work on those things, we might be able to make enough difference with the blood flow and the erections to really see an actual change in how our man works down there.
I hope everybody can see that on YouTube, the hand
Well, yeah, I
gesture
mean, it's
you
like-
just did, which was wildly inappropriate, but okay.
No, I mean, listen, first off, again, Italian, I speak with my hands. I mean, take my hands away and I might as well just like not say anything.
He doesn't exist.
But no, I mean, listen, and when I'm talking to a guy and I'm like, you want to have that's a very important sort of, maneuver we use in urology.
Okay. This is a medical
Absolutely.
hand gesture.
I mean,
Just checking.
we learn a lot in our 6 years of training. One of them is that right there.
I don't think that's true. But the 4 pillars of wellness.
Yes. So, okay, back to that. So, right. So let's first assume, all right, we're going to treat all those diseases. So now one common question I get from a patient is, well, doc, if I get my blood pressure under control and I take care of my diabetes and I lose some weight and I stop smoking, is my man going to start working better? And the answer is maybe.
Maybe.
And it really depends on how foregone a guy is with his degree of erectile dysfunction.
When you say foregone, what do you mean? That sounds like it's gone. The ship has sailed. It is not coming back.
Well, in some cases, it may have gotten that far because, again, if we go back to the fact that these are such small arteries that are sending blood to the penis, if they're clogged, they're clogged. And you can't take a 80% blocked artery and get it to 0 just by eating right and now all of a sudden controlling your diabetes.
There's no roto-rooter.
No, not for an artery that small. Now, but if a guy has got mild ED, yes, you can start making some real improvements there. So first and foremost, treat those diseases, okay? Second, we want to really maximize what I call the 4 pillars of wellness. So as a review, that means putting good food in your body. So what foods are best for your penis? The same foods that are good for your heart. So We're talking about whole foods. We're talking about avoiding sugars. We're talking about avoiding ultra-processed foods, limiting the booze, all of the things we know to do that's good for our heart. Second is we got to move our body. Okay, one of the best ways to keep our cardiovascular system healthy is by stressing it, by raising our heart rate with exercise. Now, if we look specifically for ED here, a couple things. Number one, walking, although good, is not enough. Okay.
Because it doesn't get your heart rate elevated? Because
No.
why? Is that the reason?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if walking we should really look at as movement, not exercise. Now, if you're walking up an incline and putting on some rucksack or weighted vest like you and I do, as we look like idiots walking around our neighborhood.
Not cool.
Yeah, totally not cool. But yes, you get your heart rate up, then yes, that's a good workout.
But just walking around the block,
just
walking
walking
around is not the exercise you're talking about.
Absolutely.
You need something that's got more intensity, more cardiovascular work.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's also important that we've got to also focus on doing some resistance training. So having good muscle mass is a key for maintaining good testosterone levels. And also maintaining good muscle mass is also going to boost up your metabolism such that you burn through more calories. So it's harder to put on weight. It's harder to have high insulin levels, reversing diabetes. So it's all this sort of vicious cycle. So we want to combine both good high intensity cardio a couple times a week with some weights. Again, I cannot guarantee that if you start some exercise routine, you're going to go from here to here, but it's going to be important to keep it from progressing.
Well, and it can't hurt.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And again, if we go back to our previous episode, remember, ED is the canary. We don't want to get to the point where now the coronary arteries are blocked and you have a heart attack. I can do some things to help get you an erection, pharmacologically, of course, if you need it. But what we also want to do is say, hey, this is a warning sign, and that although I may not be able to stop your ED, if I can at least stop your heart attack, that's a win. And that's why a urologist is such a key component to men's health. Sleep. We referenced in a previous episode that people who are chronically sleep deprived, so only getting 5-6 hours of sleep, have testosterone levels of a man who's 10 years older. And so if we really prioritize getting those 8 hours of sleep, we have more energy, we make better food choices, we're more likely to exercise, and we improve our T levels. And then lastly, stress. We talked about an example of a married couple who's having some infertility issues on the last episode and the stress that causes. Mm-hmm. Well, stress is stress. Your body doesn't know whether it's due to infertility or because you hate your job or you're not happy with yourself. If you're chronically under stress, that activation of all those hormones and the nervous system, that's also going to cause ED. So there's no doubt that all those things play a role, and probably of all of them, if you just manage some stress and get a little bit more sleep, that alone can help a lot of guys.
Okay. You mentioned to me once also, you mentioned a few minutes ago, testosterone as a natural, something we can do to improve ED. Fixing the testosterone levels?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if we really look at, what are some things we can do to kind of boost it up and get, I look at it like this. There's a threshold of blood flow and there's a threshold for hormones, okay? And you need to be above both thresholds. So there's going to be enough blood pumping through and enough testosterone to get an erection. Now, if your blood flow is crap, giving you more and more and more testosterone above normal, if it hasn't helped you down here, it's not going to help you up here.
Got it.
And same thing with the other way. You may have great blood flow, but if your testosterone isn't above that threshold, you can improve the blood flow all you want. You don't have enough testosterone for things to work. So I put it in this sort of natural category because there's things you can naturally do to raise testosterone, whether it's various proven testosterone supplements you take, testosterone boosting supplements, whether it's you're working on the wellness to optimizing your T levels, getting more sleep. Mm-hmm. Those are all natural ways to boost your testosterone and get you there. Now, ultimately, it may not be enough. And you do need to either go on testosterone replacement if your T levels are below the clinical threshold for normal, Or in some cases, guys just need their levels optimized, where their testosterone is technically normal, but yet it's not in that optimal range that we like to see it as urologists to really get maximum function and to optimize that performance. And so, absolutely, we've got to look at it from a multifactorial approach, and testosterone is a key factor.
Now, a second ago, you mentioned something I was going to ask about supplements.
Yeah.
Okay, there are a lot of things rolling around on television commercials. I mean, you go up to the cashier at like the 7-Eleven and there's some weird stuff by the checkout about your testosterone, raising your testosterone levels with these weird supplements. I don't think this is what you're talking about.
No.
How do you know which supplements are good and which supplements are, a little sketchy?
It's hard to say, in all fairness. I don't want to badmouth any supplement, whether it's a supplement you pick up at a checkout line or you buy on an infomercial after watching some retired Hall of Fame sports star say, I took blank and I feel great. And it's like, really? Like,
do you?
You're getting paid to say that.
Right.
And, So, again, I don't want to speak out of turn, but what I will say is this. Number one, quality matters. And if probably you're buying it on your checkout line.
You don't feel great about the 7-Eleven?
I don't feel great about those.
Okay.
So in general, if I were going to recommend a supplement to a patient, I would recommend a medical grade supplement, meaning something you've got to get through your doctor. Now, some people may call bullshit. You're doing that because you want people to buy supplements from you so you can make money.
Well,
I don't make that much money off supplements. I don't even sell that many, first and foremost. So number one, I'm not in the supplement business. I'm in the people business. So, you talk about who's incentivized to make money. Well, it's a company that's all they do. That's their only revenue stream. So if anyone is incentivized to sell you snake oil, it's the company that's all the only way they make money. So, why is it that it's got to be through a doctor? Well, those supplements are going through more rigorous testing. I don't know whether the supplement that Hall of Fame first baseman is selling on Channel 5 at 11:30 at night has been tested the same way that something that I'm able to get through a more reputable source. It could be, but I just don't know, right? Again, number two, incentives. They have a very big incentive to say their product works and sell you a lot of it. So what's their incentive to make sure the quality is there? It brings it into question. So I think if you're going to do a supplement, go through a trusted medical professional. They can steer you the right way. And I think another thing, and this is to me a very legitimate sort of argument, I like the idea of picking a single substance or compound. So let's say, for instance, you take a tea booster that's got 30 things in it and you feel great. Well, which of the 30 things is the root cause of you feeling better? Or if you have a side effect, what's it from? Whereas it may be that there's just that one key ingredient, and if you get that in a purified dosage from a reputable place, maybe you're going to get even better results than you'd otherwise imagine. So that's really my main takeaway is go with something reputable. It's not to say those things don't work. And listen, if you take those things and you feel better, go for it, Haas. I mean, by all means, right? But also understand that a lot of supplements don't go through a lot of rigorous sort of safety. And it's like, yeah, maybe it's helping now, but what damage is it causing down the road? So we got to be just a little bit more thoughtful about what we put in our body and just think just because some retired quarterback says it's great on a commercial, like
just because he says it's great doesn't mean he's taking it.
Yeah, well, and maybe he is, but again, it also doesn't mean we know it's going to be safe 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So it's so interesting when I engage patients with this natural versus, I don't want the drugs, I want natural. Well, what if the drug was actually made from some natural compound and is rigorously tested, we know it works, and we've studied it for 20 years and is safe? And that the, quote, natural supplement you get is filled with all these chemicals.
Right.
And is killing you.
Right.
I mean, we've just got to, it's not an all or nothing. Medicine is there's very few black and white areas in medicine. There's a lot of gray. And when it comes to supplements, it's a several billion-dollar business. So the people who that's all they do, we just got to be mindful of that.
Okay, fair enough. two other things that you have mentioned that I know you do and you do in the office, the shockwave treatment.
Yeah.
You want to mention that?
Yeah. So low intensity shockwave therapy, or ESWT is another way it's put, is a medical device or procedure that is done in a physician's office. So first and foremost, let's talk sort of big picture of what it is, why it might work, and then we can kind of go into some details. So the concept here is that when you traumatize an area of the body, it responds by growing. We stress it. I've introduced this term to you before.
Oh, I'm on the spot now. I'm not going to be able to call it. The sauna.
Yeah, hormesis.
Hormesis.
We joke about going to get hormesis,
that test
right?
So badly.
So for everyone else who's listening and goes, why the hell are you testing your wife on hormesis?
And she failed.
Sounds like it's a hot dog vendor, some shit. Hormesis basically means a good stress to the body, and the body responds to that stress by growing and improving. In fact, we actually think that's why vegetables are good for us, because you're putting this foreign substance in your body, and the body goes, I'm going to fight this thing. And all of a sudden we get rid of bad DNA, and we have all these processes go on biochemically, and it's good.
Does it work for candy corn?
It does not.
Does not. Okay.
But
right.
sauna, vegetables. So in this case, what we're doing is we're causing a micro trauma to the penis itself. So we get this, those like Theraguns that you see athletes use on the bench?
Yes, it's sort of like that, isn't it?
Think about a Theragun down there.
Huh.
Yeah. So we're gonna shock them back to life.
Shock it.
We're gonna shock it back to life.
Okay.
Yep. So
do people like this?
Well, if it helps them,
does it work?
So it does, with a caveat. So here's some things. Number one, the device matters. If you can buy this device yourself over the internet or on eBay,
okay,
you just please do me a favor, take your money and just burn it.
Okay.
Because it doesn't work. Okay.
Now, what if you've got using your Theragun?
I would not use your Theragun down there. I've had a Theragun on my back, and I do not want it on down there.
Fair enough.
And it's not focal enough.
Fair enough.
So if you get the right device, it can work, I believe, in more mild cases of ED. This is not for the guy who's like, yeah, doc, I mean, I've had zero action down there for like 10 years. Like, just please save your money. It's just not going to work.
That's not going to get shocked back into action.
Correct.
Fair enough.
And also there's this misnomer that like we're, quote, breaking up blood vessels. We're really not. What actually the shockwave is doing is causing a regrowth of new blood vessels and nerves to the area. So that's that idea of hormesis, right? We're stressing an area, and the body responds to that trauma by sending the body's immune system, its army, to that area. And now it is sort of going to go into repair mode. So it can work, but again, quality and reputation matter. If you can go to a strip mall and get a shockwave, be cautious.
Please don't do that.
Yep.
What about PRP?
Yeah, so the P shot.
The P shot.
So we've heard of the
So it's a shot.
So the vampire facial.
Yeah, we've all done that once or twice, haven't we? My California people. Okay. Just me and Kim Kardashian. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So PRP, platelet-rich plasma. So we've been doing this in healthcare for years. Probably best data actually is probably in the orthopedic and the hair loss space. Okay. So the idea is that there's components of our blood that have all these nutrients and stem cells. So what we can do is we can do a blood draw. We can then centrifuge a vial of blood down until we get what is left is the platelet-rich plasma. It's about 3 to 5 milliliters of the blood product that has all those nutrients. We then draw that portion up, and we do an injection right in the man.
Where?
Right in the man.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you know what? I think people should do that one. And I'm going to tell you why. I think all guys that are experiencing ED should do this shot, because you guys can now have a suffering and know what some things we go through. Waxing. Who remembers waxing? Laser hair removal.
Man,
am I off topic?
I do not condone this mindset or behavior whatsoever. No.
I think y'all should all get a P shot.
No. And here's the real truth.
Who does this work for?
You know what? Honestly, at this point, the data suggests probably nobody. I mean, if we really look at the data. So,
okay.
I'll say anecdotally,
so the P shot is a little bit more of a myth. It's not worth your money.
It seemingly right now is not showing to be as good as we once thought. Now, in all fairness, because people are like, oh, but I looked on your website and you offer it, and I have offered it. So, number one, I try to hold on to a lot of medical ideas loosely, but I'm willing to change. Number two, also realizing that there are some men who've had it before who believe it works. And I would much rather, if they feel like it's given them a help, get it from me because I know we've got the highest quality purification for it. And if there's anyone who has given a few injections into a penis before, it's a urologist. For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
So I rarely do it. We really don't market it. It's not something I ever recommend to a guy.
Okay.
If a guy's dealing with a very special situation and a shot in the dark, I talk about the theoretical benefit. But again, this is kind of where one of those areas of medicine where there's a lot of money being made. And so people are incentivized to kind of push it on. So unlike the Shockwave, which actually does have some promising data behind it with the right machines, I just haven't yet seen the data for the PRP. It's not to say it's a definitive, dead in the water. It's never going to be applicable, but to date, it hasn't shown the same data it has for hair loss and for, say, things like arthritis.
Okay. Well, this has been a lot of information.
Yeah.
All right. Natural treatments for erectile dysfunction. Should we wrap it up?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. My favorite part of the show.
Just the tip.
So, the 4 pillars of wellness are essential to maintain natural erections: stress management, sleep, nutrition, and good solid cardiovascular exercise and weight-bearing exercise. Optimizing your testosterone can improve erections. And being very cautious about supplements that claim to cure erectile dysfunction. See a board-certified urologist to get an accurate account of what you're taking or to get perhaps a better quality supplement.
Yeah, we'll add into that supplements any sort of these procedures.
Or Shockwave procedure, or
about.
if you're going for the P shot because you're just going for it.
Listen,
I don't know.
Listen, if you want a guy to suffer, at least let him go get a vasectomy and get high and take care of some contraception, or go get a finger in his bottom so we make sure he doesn't have prostate cancer.
You told me, though, that the finger in the bottom thing was kind of not even...
Well, different topic.
Different topic.
Sure.
We might want
to explore
that.
Some of the women are happy to see the guy go and get that after. You guys, listen, you guys get poked and prodded from the start of
and then
maturing.
Some of it is elective.
Yes, fair enough. Yeah, you've chosen some things for the sake of beauty, but men I can just not shave for a couple of days, go gray, and it's like, oh, okay.
And you're still fine.
He looks all right. Just throw on some polo and we're good.
Okay. But I think we have gone through some good information today.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll stay tuned for the 3rd installment of Erectile Dysfunction, where we discuss some actual medications.
Yes, this will be exciting. We get to talk about the drugs. So, Stream Team, as always, thank you for joining us on today's episode of Balls Deep. Please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Find us on YouTube for all the colorful, I guess the physical comedy of what we do, right? I mean, I've got a lot of...
Are we physical? I'm just sitting here and I'm in a boot.
Well, you're in the boot. I got my hand gestures down. I mean, I watched... I got to be honest. I watched the last episode of our testicular pain.
Oh, the ball pain.
And as I was kind of doing like one of these maneuvers, I think Chad got a still of it. Did not look flattering.
Not great.
Did not look
good.
flattering.
Maybe don't watch this on YouTube at all.
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
like that movie we watched on Amazon Prime. Was it the Ricky Stenicki? And he talks about William H. Macy kind of like holding the microphone like this.
Oh, I forgot about that. Was a weird movie.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's going to be memes of me out there one day. But hey, I'm fine being the
If
punching
only
bag.
you could be a meme.
I'd love to be a meme.
There you go.
So, with that, Stream Team, please remember to show yourself a little bit more love and grace. We're all works in progress, and these are opportunities to improve. Thanks, and have an awesome day.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Balls Deep. If you'd like to join our Stream team of listeners, please click the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. For more information about our practice, Pazona MD, please visit pazonamd.com. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and the content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice. The show does not constitute the practice of medicine. No doctor-patient relationship is formed through this podcast or any of the social media channels related to this show. The use of this information is at the user's own risk. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice from any medical condition they have, and they should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions.